Hello, and welcome. My name is Alexa Hanshaw, and today we are going live on both Instagram and Facebook for Stress-Free Saturday, where I come at you live to talk about all things to help you stay stress-free or stressing less. And today for Stress-Free Saturday, we are talking all about farmers market and buying local and buying seasonal, why it matters, if it matters, and kind of the definitions around them. And as a reminder, I am Alexa Hanshaw, a functional health and nutrition coach, and I am here to help you be the CEO of your stress. I help bring clarity and information to those that are looking to really optimize their health, to get their energy back, to learn what works with their body, and maybe more importantly, what doesn't and what works against it. So for today, we are talking about the farmers market. So my husband and I went up to our local farmers market earlier today, and I was inspired to jump on and talk about why go to a farmers market. Why does it make sense to buy local, and why buy seasonally versus going to the grocery store and getting anything you want at any time. So first and foremost, let me know if you are watching #live or #replay. Go ahead, comment below, and I want to hear when you are watching this video. And also, I want to know, have you been to a farmer's market before? Do you have a local market or stand that you like to go to grab either produce or dairy or bread or meat or whatever it might be? Let me know in the comments, and let's start to see where we've got some local farmers markets around here. Now, to jump right in, why buy local? Other than supporting all of the amazing farmers around you, does it really make a difference to buy local to your health? And the answer to that is yes, of course it does. And there are kind of several reasons as to why that's the case. So buying local really helps with the nutrient density of the food that you're buying, and it's picked at peak ripeness. So what that means is it's at its peak amount of not only nutrients but also taste. So if you've ever gone to some type of farm, like a blueberry farm or a strawberry farm, and pick something and taken a bite, you'll notice if you grabbed something that was, ready to be picked, it probably tasted amazing, way better than anything you usually get in the grocery store. And that's because, the local farms can really choose to pick your produce at its peak freshness. Whereas if you're purchasing from a commercial farm or from a big factory farm, they actually pick their produce a little bit before its peak freshness and before its peak ripeness in order to be able to make the long journey to your grocery store. And by doing that, not only do they kind of stop the nutrients from being infused into the food, but they also need to add other things like chemicals and waxes in order to make sure that it can withstand the long journey to the grocery store. And a local farm, or buying something locally, is defined as something within 100 miles of where you live or where the restaurant is that is purchasing that produce. And what's interesting is when you pick a piece of fruit or vegetables or whatever produce you're having, within 24 hours, it actually starts to lose its nutrients and all of that delicious nutrient density that it has. So buying local helps you get your produce quicker and faster. And when you get your food faster, that means you can consume it when it's at that peak nutrient density, or when it's at its peak nutrient level. And that's really what we're all trying to get to, is not only delicious tasting food, but also getting all the nutrients that we can. So all the vitamins, all the minerals, all the antioxidants that we can get from our food all at once. And another great thing about local farms is they usually are more sustainable and practice more sustainably. And by doing this, so really taking care of the soil and taking care of their fruits, their vegetables, their produce, again, you get better tasting and more nutrient dense foods. So again, buying local does make a difference. If you have the ability to go to a farmer's market, to a farm stand, or even at your local grocery store, you might have things that are tagged as local. Consider looking at buying those and see if you can tell a difference. And again, I know I asked at the beginning, have you been to a farmer's market before? But let me know if you have a farmer's market nearby where you can walk to one or drive to one easily and pick up local fruits, vegetables, meat, dairy, all the like. Now, the second piece that really comes into usually a farmer's market is going to be seasonality and purchasing things seasonally. And really, what buying or what consuming something seasonal means really has to do with the time of year, when food is either harvested or when it's at its peak flavor. So some items, you harvest them like right around now. When I went up to the farmer's market, actually, we got some strawberries and noticed that almost all of the farmers there had strawberries. So they must be in harvest, and they're definitely in season right now, at least in Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, depending on where you are at, your seasonal produce will or could be slightly different. So for example, in Florida, I was in Florida a couple weeks ago, we were actually able to go blueberry picking. And blueberry picking is in season down there, but in North Carolina won't be in season until mid to end of June. And that's just, the way that the harvest happens to occur. And the reason, that we try to pick things seasonally, eat things seasonally, is really to help with a few things. It's fresher, it's tastier, and of course, as always, going back to, it's more nutrient dense and more nutritious. And on top of that, similar to buying local, when you buy seasonally, it's also better for the environment, and it can be less expensive because you don't have to put in, the extra time for shipping and for delivery. And when you're buying something out of season, the farmers, the big factory farmers, that is, have to put something in it to make it ripen, or to kind of force the produce to ripen outside of its normal harvest schedule. So just little things to consider when you are going grocery shopping this weekend. Maybe try and buy something local or buy something in season wherever you are at. And I just wanted to show you a few things that we purchased that we noticed were in season because our local farmers had them around for us. So I already showed you our delicious strawberries, or what I hope is delicious. They look delicious, strawberries. We also got some dandelions. So we already put it in a plastic bag. We kind of chopped off the ends, but we are going to try and put this in some salads, as well as we were told from the farmer to try and saute it up and to add it with some of our meats. So we actually got some chicken from a local farmer, so we will probably be having some sauteed Italian dandelion with some of our chicken later this week. We also got some microgreens. Microgreens are my favorite, just to add a burst of nutrients and add a boost of flavor to anything. You can really put them on top of anything. It can be a salad, but honestly, anything that you're cooking or warming up, it's a great way to add a little bit of freshness on top. And then we also got tomatoes. So these yellow tomatoes just looked so delicious. We couldn't pass them up. And then one of our favorites to do when we have really good ripe tomatoes is caprese salad. And so we actually have a local farmer at our farmer's market that makes local cheese, and we got some burrata that we're gonna add to our tomatoes this week. So just as a quick recap, we talked about purchasing local and why that matters, as well as buying and consuming seasonally. Again, local, you get more nutrient dense foods. Not only does it, is it better for your health, but also it helps out the local economy, the local farmers, and it's also, you know, much better for you to be able to keep the nutrients for you. So again, you kind of start to lose those nutrients within 24 hours of something being picked. So, our tomatoes, we were told, were picked this morning. So we know we've got a few good days of nutrient dense tomatoes when we can eat our tomatoes. And then again, seasonally, it's just all about when you are consuming or when you're getting that produce, either at the time of year when it's harvested or when it's at its peak time of flavor, if they tend to differ. And again, the key things with seasonal, it's fresher, it's tastier, more nutrient dense, it's better for the environment, and it can be less expensive because it doesn't have to travel as far. Again, I am Alexa Hanshaw. I enjoyed getting to speak with all of you. Again, let me know in the comments, what is one item that you are going to go to the farmer, or you are going to go to the market, whether it be your grocery store, if you have a farmer's market, and try and look for this week. Maybe it's strawberries because they're in season, or maybe it's tomatoes. Wherever you are could be something different, but I want to know what's in season around you and what are you going to incorporate into your meal. And don't forget to join me in my Facebook group, Be the CEO of Your Stress. I go live every Sunday over there for Self-Care Sunday, and we really dig deep. I provide exclusive content on how to help you stress less, eat better, move more, sleep more soundly, and be more present with yourself and with those you love. I cannot wait to see you next time, and have an amazing weekend. Thank you so much.